We are here and we are strong. Let's be counted as we move on. Make a difference, change lives as we tell our different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.
Now, with cessation of movement having been lifted by the President, we still hope that you'll continue to adhere to the strict measures in place to ensure that the COVID-19 virus doesn't spread any further. Hello there and welcome to Able Differently. I'm your host, Jen Theory. Karibu sana.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
It is that first cry at birth that indicates a successful entry of any human being into the world. For the Habu, her baby didn't cry, and this clearly suggested that all was not well. Take a look.
The cry of a child at birth gives an assurance that all is well. But what if no sound is heard at all? We are lucky to meet one woman whose child failed to cry at birth and everything has never been the same again.
Vile amezaliwa hakukuwa amelia. Shida ilianza hapo.
Madaktari walikuambia nini baadaye?
Daktari aliniambia mtoto ako na shida ya kustuka.
The Habu, who is also a mother to 3 other children, says the responsibility of taking care of them all was quite a challenge.
Anasema ana uwezo wa kupeleka mtoto hospitali Mandibi.
Wange suni kabo. Kama le dani sana therapy ile sedi.
Anasema ana uwezo wa kupeleka mtoto hospitali na mtoto akipeleka hospitali anaambia mtoto anafaa kuwa na therapy, anafaa kufanywa therapy, ndio hiyo dawa yenye anapatiwa hospitali isaidiane na hiyo therapy ndio mtoto aweze kukua sawa.
Coping hasn't been an easy thing. At times, relatives chip in to lend a helping hand, but what about the rest?
Anasema juu hawa watoto wako na mahitaji mengi na mtu wako na mtoto kama huyu hata kazi hawezi. Saa zingine relatives wake wanamtumia lakini si lazima. Saa zingine watatuma, saa zingine watakosa, ni hivyo tu.
One of the neighbors, Margaret Waithira, has also played a big role in helping the Habu.
Mimi niko na ndugu yangu akona ugonjwa ya kifafa. My brother, second born wetu anakuwa na shida ya kifafa. Sasa mimi huenda kumchukulia dawa pale Lions. Hospitali ya City Council ya Lions. Sasa hiyo hospitali mtu akiwa na shida yoyote, ukienda hapo kama uko na shida ya kifafa, kukauka, wanakupatianga dawa. Hizo dawa ukimeza unaacha kukauka. Kifafa unaacha kuanguka, ina stabilize hiyo kifafa. Then unakuwa yani wewe ni mtu unaweza fanya kazi kama watu wengine bila kuanguka. Sasa mimi ni juu ninaenda kuchukua brother yangu dawa hapo na nikaangalia shida huyu mtoto hiyo kukauka, nikaenda huko nikaulizia daktari akaniambia kama ni mtu anakauka umlete tumuone then ataanza dawa. Tutaangalia dawa zile zenye atapewa aanze dawa. Ika take time. Nilimuongelesha for a year nikimwambianga tafadhali peleka huyu mtoto hospitali. Lakini shida si kupeleka mtoto hospitali. Shida ni pesa. Juu hospitali pia unailipia pesa, dawa pia unanunua. Yes, dawa zao ziko cheap, lakini kama huna hata 10 hauwezi pewa.
Life in the slums can be extremely difficult, as Margaret explains.
Life in the slums ni ngumu sana. Mimi kwanza, wacha nikuambie ukweli. Simasikia naitwa Margaret Waithira. Mimi ni Muislamu. Mimi Kenya imenifanya nikuwe hivi venye niko, ni kukuwa Muislamu. Hiyo ndio iliniokoa. Mimi nilikuwa karibu kurepiwa when my mom died. Juu mimi ni msichana, ndio mwili na jiform. niko 14 years ndio sasa hiyo mwili inajiform. Sasa ile wakati ninatembea huku rape ilikuanga juu. 2003 rape case ilikuanga juu. Nyumba ya matope kama hii ulikuwa unalala inachimbuliwa usiku. Mtu anaingiza mkono anafungua mlango, anakurepu na anaenda. Na hakuna mahali utampeleka. Ukiongea unauliwa.
Hers and the Habu's wish therefore is for well wishes and the government to step in and do something commendable.
Tungependa sana gava i-create more opportunity za kazi kwa wase wenye wako kwa salamu. Juu ukinipatia kitu ya kufanya, usinipatie pesa with nothing, sijafanyia kazi. Kama nimeisweatia hivi nimemwaga jasho yangu, hiyo pesa kukula itakuwa tamu. Nipatie kitu yenye ndafanya. Kitu ile ndafanya, nifanya nini? Nipate pesa. Hivyo utakuwa umenisaidia. Lakini usiniambia tutanitumania 2000, sijui utanitumania 200. Yes, utanitumania, ndachukua yote niende nikunywe, juu sijaisweatia. Lakini pesa ile nimesweatia, ndajua hii pesa nilifanya kazi nikasweat. Hii pesa ndaifanya hivi. Hii pesa ndanunua kiatu, sina kiatu. Hii pesa ndanunua nguo. Nitakuwa nikivaa ile nguo naona ile pesa. So, gava ikutucreate more opportunities. Ikitucreate more opportunities, si tutafurahia. Si kawa si Waislamu, tutafurahia sana. Na tutachange lifestyle yetu pia.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Let's take a short break and we'll be right back with more.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. Wilson Kenda is the leader of the Deaf Church in Ongata Rongai. He admits to a tough upbringing riddled with so many challenges. However, he aspires to make a difference in the next generation. Take a look.
Wilson Kenda started experiencing problems with his hearing early in his childhood. He later lost his hearing completely. Initially, he joined a normal school, but since he could not blend in with the rest, he was enrolled into a special school. Despite being surrounded by pupils who signed, he still had challenges learning the art of sign language.
When I was born, I went to the hospital and I had difficulties up to the time I was 3 to 4 years. I kept being sick, and around 3 to 4 years, that's when it was confirmed I am deaf. And my parents took me to a hearing school, interestingly, but I couldn't hear anything. So it was very difficult for me. I had to go back home. And later on, when I was slightly older, that's when my parents realized that I cannot fit in a hearing school. And so I had to go to a deaf school, where I learned sign language and continue with my school life.
After he had mastered the sign language, he longed for a normal conversation with his siblings, but only a few showed interest.
None of them really know sign language in a proficient way. So really, my communication with them is more on a serious matter, will be through writing, and so we never communicate much. So, and if there's anything for us to really talk about, then I would write. To be like the one whom I can communicate mostly in sign language is the 11th born, the one who comes after me. Yeah. So I don't know if it's because I am elder than him, and so I can influence him. And so his name is Simon, and I enjoy communicating with him most.
Kenda resigned to using the basic signs with his mother, who knew little signing. The father, on the other hand, had no interest at all.
When I go back home, I can't communicate with my parents, and so most of the times we would communicate through writing. You know, sometimes I would try follow what they are saying, but when I'm in school, I would enjoy. So around class 6, 7, I had become a very good signer. And at home, I had already also learned, how to mouth lip read. So I would sort of depend on that, but it was still difficult. Yeah.
Kenda believes that had it not been for the communication barrier, he would have a superb relationship with his family. For now, he is more at ease with the deaf community that makes communication worthwhile.
Most of my deep relations is with the deaf people who know sign language, because the deaf understand my situation. I can share with them deep stuff about my life. Yeah. But family. Family is family, and especially if you're born in a deaf family with other deaf people, then it's easier for you to relate with them. But if you're in a hearing family, they're just talking. I can't hear what they're saying. So yeah, my relationship with my family is not strong. It would have been strong.
However, he is very grateful to his parents for giving him equal opportunities and supporting him. Marrying a deaf lady was a decision well thought out, as he articulates communication being key in a successful marriage. His wife, Mercy Mideva, who seems to agree with him, made her choice out of love and hopes to raise her children, teaching them the art of signing.
I got married to Kenda because I could communicate with him, and I enjoyed being around him from the days we were dating. And I'm glad that I got married to him. I'm enjoying. And our plans is that if we plan to get children, and we hope that our children, the way God gives them to us, we will take care of them. It's definitely.
Kenda has faced a multitude of challenges and shared a few with us.
Like I entered into a supermarket, or in a matatu, or in other public spaces, there are all these challenges. And mainly the challenges are when I have to communicate. Like for instance, when I have to be scanned, so the person might be speaking to me and I can't hear what they're saying. And they're talking, or maybe I'm inquiring about something and they are talking to me because they can't see that disability, that deafness. So they will be talking to me. I just have to adjust. Deaf means you have to keep telling people that you're deaf.
He appealed to the society to be aware of some of the disabilities and have the interest in learning basic sign language.
The society can learn how to sign. And so I'm looking forward to a society where we have more people who are aware of deaf people and have some interest in learning sign language. Yeah, I know that is changing. It's not like before, but I'm hoping we would have more people who are aware of deaf people, and the deaf people have all these other gifts. Yeah. And they should not dismiss the deaf people, because the deaf people, the only thing they can do is that they can't hear. That deaf people communicate, they communicate through sign language. They have all these other things going on in their lives apart from their ability to hear.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
On today's profile, we look at Liam Malone, who is a parathlete.
T44.
Liam Malone is a former Paralympian who represented New Zealand.
Malone going very well. Also, Johannes Flores for Germany. Now they'll straighten up, and it's Malone who leads. Woodall up with him. What a battle for the goal this is. It's Lee Malone for New Zealand. Woodall's there. Can Woodall reel him in? Malone gets the gold for New Zealand.
The main reason was because I didn't like competing against other disabled people, and it kind of made me need to accept that I was disabled. I don't consider myself disabled at all, and I'm a very competitive person, so I love kind of pushing myself to compete against able-bodied people because I'm able to do everything, so why would I consider myself disabled? ever since I was growing up, kind of just playing sport with able-bodied children has just kind of given me a better perspective to kind of think that I'm not disabled, as well as like taking on individual sports compared to like team sports like mountain biking, snowboarding, where I'm like competing against myself has always been really important as well.
He announced his retirement from athletics in January 2018 and now works for artificial intelligence startup Soul Machines.
The running blade is way different to the everyday leg, and I get quite excited about it because it's just an awesome bit of technology. This blade starts at the back of the leg and it curves all the way around, and then there's a really small amount of surface area that touches the ground at one point, which makes it really hard to balance on just standing still, but once you're up and running it allows you to run. A lot of factors come into it. The stiffness of the blade, that means that there's not a lot of energy lost, so they basically just bounce off the track.
As an athlete, he won gold medals in 200 meters and 400 meters, and silver medal in 100 meters, all in T44.
So my goal for the Paralympics is to win the 400 metre event in the T43, T44 class, and there's a lot of us that can win it on the day, but I'm definitely aiming for gold.
Liam was born on 23rd of December 1993. He was born with fibular hemimelia, also known as longitudinal fibular deficiency, on both legs. As a result, his legs were amputated above the ankles when he was 18 months old.
I was born with both of my fibular bones missing in each leg, which pretty much meant that there was no stability in either of my limbs. So up until 18 months old, I was learning to walk on the inside of my limbs, basically on the inside of my ankle, which was near impossible to say the least. So at 18 months old, my parents made the decision to have both my feet amputated, and since then I've been walking on prosthetic limbs.
So the fibula is the bone that runs down the outside of the leg, and it actually stabilises the ankle. So Liam was born without that bone. What they did was actually grafted the heel section onto the end of the stump. So when they took out all the foot, they then took the heel, because that's a nice strong bit of skin, and sutured it onto the bottom of the stump here.
Life's been different a little bit. It's a different outlook on life, I guess, than what most people would get. It makes me appreciate things more than probably what most people would. Life's good, life's easy, so no complaints.
T44. So away they go, and a brilliant start by Malone. Bear a little slower, the block's in 5. Malone going very well. Also Johannes Flores for Germany. Now they'll straighten up, and it's Malone who leads. Woodall up with him. What a battle for the goal this is. It's Lee Malone for New Zealand. Woodall's there. Can Woodall reel him in? Malone gets the gold for New Zealand. 6 all with lifetime best. Prince with a Paralympic record in his category. Malone in his as well, and that's good enough for gold. Ahead of Woodall by 600ths of a second. Just look at the power, the determination. He wasn't going to be beaten. Nobody was going to overtake Liam Malone on this great track of the engine hour.
Because we're differently abled, differently.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability.
Article 6 of the UN Convention states that state parties recognize that women and girls with disabilities are subject to multiple discrimination, and in this regard shall take measures to ensure the full and equal enjoyment by them of all human rights and fundamental freedoms.
On today's tip, we focus on communicating with the deaf. We all know too well that since the pandemic happened, we are supposed to wear our facial masks in order to mitigate the spread of the virus. But now regarding persons who have, hearing impairment, rather the deaf, by wearing this mask, it actually blocks, the flow of communication between the regular people and the deaf community. So in that regard, I would suggest we probably try to find the special masks which have a transparent cloth, so that even when they wear it like this on their faces, we can still be able to understand what they're saying, because the deaf community communicate through sign language, which of course includes using gestures and lip reading.
I'm happy and I'm welcoming you here. Can you see me well? Yes. This other one is very poor. Yeah. It makes our life very difficult. Because whether you are upset, you are happy, nobody will be able to differentiate. You can see. Yeah. So with the other one, you can retrieve. You can also see my face very well. If I'm hungry, when I'm happy. But as of now, we are giving you this small one. Yeah. But in the near future, we'll add more. Is that okay? Thank you. So thank you very much.
That's it for today, but remember to keep tuning to KBC Channel 1 for more insightful episodes. Until next time, kwaherini.